Yes, very good morning, my dear friends. Right, come on. So from yesterday we discussed some beautiful small topic known as liability to pay tax in certain cases, and I strongly believe that we got good clarity on that small topic. Are we clear? Excellent. What is section 15? Section 7? Section 8? Composite supply and mixed supply. Correct, no? Good. What is section 59? 60. BJ in case of non-filers. 72. Officers to assist proper officers. 82. Tax is always the first charge on the property. 92. Liability in case of court of works. 52. TCS. Correct, no? 30. 50. Power to sum. 80. Payment of tax in installment. 90. Liability in case of partners of the firm. Ah, wonderful. Sir, done, no? 11. 21. ISD, recovery in case of excess distribution. 31, we'll learn soon. 51. Huh? Some of them TCDS, they wrapped up telling TCS, then shifted to TDS. It became TCDS. Chintu, come on, reply Chintu. 61. Access to business premises. 81. Transfer of property is regarded as void. 91. Guardians and trustees for minor, for incapacitated person, unsound mind, lunatic, idiot. Whom you are scolding, sir? Yourself? Said discuss, no? What? Idiot? The incapacitated person. Friends, covered or not? Tell me guys, what is section 85? Transfer of business. 86. Principal and agent. 87. Amalgamation. 88. Liability in case of companies in liquidation. 89. Directors of private company. 90. Partners of the firm. 91. Guardians and trustees. 92. Court of works. 93. Special cases. 94. Other cases. 93. What is special point I told? In case of death of the person, if the business is continued, person continued by business shall be liable to pay the tax or amount to due. Our business is discontinued, legal representative as legal hires are liable out of the estate of the deceased to the extent estate is capable. Friends, done? Maatadam, sir. Speak out, sir. Say something, sir. Something little at least. Achha, something means we'll tell something. Brilliant. What is section 3? Hierarchy of GST officers. Done, no? Guru garu cheppandi. Pakka. What is section 10(1)(e) of IGST Act? Goods supplied on board a conveyance. What is section 75? 75. Hello? 75. Derivation of demand. Section 73 and 74. 76. Tax collected but not paid. 78. Initiation of recovery proceedings. Generally initiate after 3 months. But for reasons recorded in writing, they can initiate even before 3 months. Discuss, no? Tell confidently. That is important. 80. Annual installments. And commissioner can grant maximum. Don't tell annual. If you tell annual, you have to write annual exam. 24 monthly installments. Discussed? 66. Special audit. What is the time limit for completion? 5 years. Excellent. If you tell all this nonsense answer, you will write exam also for 5 years. How many days? 90 days. Nonsense. Correct only. 90 days. For extended by 90 days. Discuss, no? Some friends are only smiling, not giving answers. 28. Amendment of registration. 30. Time limit. Further extended by. Further extended by. Further extended by. First section 30 days by additional joint commissioner. Further extension 30 days by commissioner. Inka further ఏమి ఉండదు అట్లా. There is limit for anything. Clear, no? Friends, today let's discuss a small interesting topic, guys, known as tax invoice credit note debit note. A very small interesting topic. Let's complete that. Dealt from section 31 to 34. Small topic, but still some interesting concepts are there to learn, that we learn and close this topic. Okay, friends? Put the chapter name, tax invoice, credit note and debit note. Tax invoice, credit note and debit note. Bracket section 31 to 34. Hey. Amen. You want to go? With section 31 to 34. What is the topic name? Tax invoice, credit note and debit note. Clear, my dear friends? So basically in this small topic, we are actually going to learn when a person is required to issue invoice, what invoice must contain. We'll also talk about what is credit note, what is debit note. In exam, that question is coming, credit note, debit note. Students are writing dangerous answer, sales return, credit note, purchase return, debit note. I will give you credit note, you give me debit note. I will give you chocolate, you give me biscuit. Like that they are writing some horrible answers. Value is wonderful. Good points are there in this topic. With section 31 to 34. In fact, my dear friends, section 31 deals with the concept of tax invoice. Section 32 says unregistered person cannot collect the tax. Unregistered person cannot collect the tax, and registered person should collect only as per provisions of the act. I repeat once again. What did law say? Unregistered person cannot collect the tax, and registered person should collect only as per provisions of the act. Then section 33 says the amount of tax should be clearly indicated in the invoice. Then finally 34 talks about the concept of credit note and debit notes. Like this small interesting sections are there. Very small question can trigger in the exam. Why to take a chance? Let's learn it properly. Clear? Let's start with section 31, tax invoice. So listen carefully. There is one shop known as what is the shop name? Teja Medical Store, which is a registered person in Telangana state. Now what is happening is, there is one customer who who has approached the shop and asked for one Crocin tablet or Dolo tablet. Dolo, you know? India's favorite snack, wonderful. So he asked for one Crocin tablet. So he did not ask for one strip. He asked only for one tablet. Shopkeeper asked one tablet or one strip. You can know one tablet only. We ask like that, right? And this tablet price is 2 rupees. Okay? My question. Should they issue tax invoice? No. Why? Limit exceed అయితే ఏం లిమిట్ ఉంది? Customer is also a registered person. You are also a registered person. Only one Crocin tablet. Price is 2 rupees. Should they issue invoice? Speak out. How many of the answer is no? How many of the answer is yes? Fantastic. Nonsense answer. Answer is yes. Even though it is 1 rupee also, still the answer is yes. If the receiver is a registered person. If the receiver is what, sir? A registered person. Getting clarity? Speak out. Next question. Think properly and tell me now. Okay? Teja Medical Store. What is the shop name, sir? Teja Medical Store. One customer who is an URP, he is an RP. He approached the shop and asked for a box of Dolo. Okay, no? India's favorite. Wonderful. He asked for one box of Dolo and the price is 450 rupees. Should they issue invoice? Should they issue? Oh. What if this is 250? Speak out. Acha. What if this is 150? 150 no, 250 yes, sir. Why madam? Tell sir. Sometimes ఏమో సార్ చెప్తే మళ్ళీ ఏమంటారు. So there's an interesting concept in the law which says that, listen, in case of B2B transactions, what transactions means? We'll divide transaction into B2B and B2C. What is B2B? B2C? Unregistered person. Correct, no? In B2B, invoice is mandatory irrespective of value. Clear, friends? But in B2C, condition number 1, recipient does not require invoice and value does not exceed 200. In that case, no need to issue what's that? Tax invoice. But imagine if value is less than 200. Imagine my difference, if value is less than 200, but customer is telling I want invoice. Can supplier say, no, less than 200 I will not give invoice only? Can you say that? Answer is no. Because even though value is less than 200, if recipient want invoice, supplier must give invoice. He cannot say I will not give. He cannot say I will not give. So getting clarity, friends? Yes? Now listen. In that case, my dear friends, supplier will raise a consolidated invoice. He will raise what, sir? Consolidated invoice for all such supplies in a day. So in a day, whomever we made supplies like that, but it is less than 200, customer did not want invoice. All that supplies will combine together, and at the end of the day, will raise what, sir? Consolidated invoice. So getting clarity, everybody? So speak out. So if recipient value is more than 200, but recipient is telling I don't want invoice, should we give? I repeat again, value is more than 200, but recipient is telling I don't want invoice. Should we give? Answer is yes, because value is more than 200. I clearly asked my question. Value is more than 200, but the recipient is telling I don't want invoice. Still should I give or I should not give? I should give. When it's not required, only value does not exceed 200 and recipient does not want invoice. Both conditions. So value is more than 200, recipient does not want invoice, still have to give. Value is less than 200, but recipient wants invoice, still have to give. Which case not required only? Recipient does not want invoice and value does not exceed 200. Then now there is no need to issue invoice. But supplier must raise what invoice, sir? At the end of the day for all such supplies. So getting clarity? Speak out. Next. Sir, what should invoice contain? Value, wow, GST number, tax amount, date, quantity, supplier's name, value, place of supply with interstate supply, rate of tax, brilliant, inka, signature, wonderful, required. HSN code or SAC code, HSN in case of goods, SAC in case of services. Four digit is sufficient. You need not show 8 digit. 4 digit is completely okay. But there are some limits there. If turnover does not exceed 1.5 crores, there is no need. 1.5 to 5 crores, 2 digit. More than 5 crores, 4 digit. Exports, 6. Yeah. Sir, now listen. Carefully listen. Next. Throw ask something now. Yes. Sir, there is one person, Mr. A, who is a dealer in pens. He is a registered person. He is giving an invoice to the customer. And invoice number what he gave is something like this. Invoice number is something like this. 98480 32919 32919 by hashtag 123 by hashtag ABC. Is this okay? Not okay? Why you do not like it? That's why. You have to tell why also. No, not okay, okay. But why? That is important. What, madam? That is not a way to number the invoice. Acha. I'll put invoice number like this. You tell me. 2223 by 001. Is it okay? I will put code like this. 10 by 2223 by 001. Next invoice 10 by 2223 by 002. Is this okay? Here also same. I'll follow sequence only. 98480 by hashtag 123 by hashtag ABD. Next will be ABE. Next ABF. నెక్స్ట్ ABG సీక్వెన్స్. సార్ ఏమన్నా చెప్పు పర్లేదు చెప్పు. ఎస్ మై డియర్ ఫ్రెండ్, టెల్ మీ. అంటే సమ్ రియాక్షన్ యూ గివ్. మార్నింగ్ వైజాగ్ సారీ ఫేస్. సార్ ఎనీ థాట్స్? Sometimes no thoughts on the human little. Huh? So I want to put my phone number only. Mayush 9848032919. This is heights. Short. Areas. Chindu, you know my number? What is this, madam? Come on. Get back now. So I want to put phone number in my invoice. Can I put or I cannot put? Itlante? No. Why no? Why no? What is my question? No. Why can't I put my phone number? సార్ నంబర్ సార్ పుస్తక అడ్రస్ ఉంది సార్ అక్కడ. కాల్ సార్ కమ్. అరే దట్స్ ridiculous answer here, come on. Get the logic. Sir, nothing wrong. You can put your phone number in your invoice number. Your wish. Law only told invoice should be serially numbered and it should not exceed 16 characters. Very good. 16 characters. There can be numbers or alphabets, or it can be alphanumeric, and there can also be special characters like slash, dash or hyphen. Slash or dash, but you can't put hashtag, @ jujube, jututi, whatever you want you can't use. You should not tell hashtag 1.2, hashtag 008, hashtag 007. You cannot put whatever you want. Is that clear? Everybody getting clarity on this point? Right. What is the time limit to issue invoice? Goods. Where there is movement of goods on or before date of removal. No movement of goods on or before date of delivery or make available. Continuous supply of goods when statement is issued or payment is received. All this I told. And it in 30 days, 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. That is in case of services. And banks, NBFC. Remember, I told all these points. We discussed all these concepts when we learned the chapter of time of supply. Because in time of supply, they clearly told if invoice issued within time, date of invoice, date of payment, whichever is earlier. Invoice not issued within time. Wonderful. Sir, there is a lawyer who is giving service to a business entity. This transaction is covered under? Excellent. This would work perfectly. But I have a question here. For lawyer, is registration required? Lawyer turnover is 60 lakhs. Tell me guys, for lawyer is registration required? Yes. Speak out. Yes. Answer, you don't apply your brain or what? Answer is no. Already told in this concept of section 23, person is not liable for registration. Person making only reverse charge supplies. Question में brain matter commerce is use here asalo. The lawyer is giving supply business entity. It's covered under RCM. Business entity is liable to pay tax. What will lawyer do with taking registration? He will prepare one boat and plain water. With that certificate? Happy telling yes? I'm asking, cannot think yes. Sir, I told you have confidence while telling correct answer. Not while telling wrong answer. Wrong answer also telling so confidently. Open registration chapter, see section 23. Person not liable for registration. We wrote one point there. Person making only reverse charge supply. Third point you will find that. First point was person to be excluded in exempt supply. Second point agriculturist. Third point you will find it. Third point only, no? Person making only reverse charge supply is there, no? Now they will put sad face as if I scolded. ఏంది క్వశ్చన్ అవ్వలేదు ఇంకా. ఇది రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ రిక్వైర్డ్ ఫర్ లాయర్? ఇది రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ రిక్వైర్డ్ ఫర్ లాయర్? వండర్ఫుల్. ఈజ్ దిస్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ కవర్ అండ్ రాసింగ్? ఈజ్ బిజినెస్ ఎంటిటీ లయబుల్ టు పే GST? స్పీక్ అవుట్. In that case, my dear friends, this business entity should do something called self-invoicing. What invoicing? They should raise invoice on themselves. They should raise invoice on themselves and pay GST. And these people will also issue a payment voucher. So getting clarity? So what is the chapter name we are discussing? Tax invoice, credit note, debit note. So basically we are trying to understand which case what document will come into picture. That's the whole idea here. Clear? Speak out. There is Legend Builders. Builder means bodybuilder, constructed. They are an RP. They are constructing an apartment. One customer, Mr. X, approached them. He booked the flat for 1 crore. Okay, na? Before occupancy certificate. Will GST apply? Before also made the booking. Will GST apply? He booked the flat for 1 crore before OC and paid 10 lakhs advance. Will GST apply? Speak out. Correct or not? Will GST apply or not? Definitely the answer is yes. On 10 lakhs or 1 crore? 10 lakh received before OC, 90 lakh received after OC. 10 only before OC. Even if 1 rupee is received before OC, GST will apply on the entire amount. How do we discuss this? Now the question. For this, should Legend Builders issue invoice? For this, should Legend Builders issue invoice? Come on, 10 lakhs. Will they pay GST on this 10 lakhs? On this 10 lakh, will they pay GST? Time of supply will come at the time of receipt of advances. We know that very clearly. In case of goods, there is no need to pay GST on advances. But for services, we have to pay GST on advances. Already we learned the concept? Tell me now. Should Legend Builders issue invoice? Speak out. So tell confidently or come on. Yes or no? Good. Answer is no. For the 10 lakhs, they will issue a document called receipt voucher. They don't give an invoice. Some friends are, I'm telling students. Chintu, clear, no? Enjoying like anything? Wonderful. Come on, why are you all so silent? Sir, clear or not? Speak out. Everybody. Sir, for some reason, if this advance is required to be refunded, refund voucher. Good. Now some logic has come, some brain sense is working. Chalo, what is ready to put? Section 31 tax invoice. Read on. In case of services, invoice must be issued in case of services, invoice must be issued within 30 days from completion of service. Invoice is issued within 30 days from completion of service. Next point. If supplier is a banking company, or NBFC or insurer, the invoice must be issued within, what's that, 45 days. Next point. Put a star mark. If there are supply of services, between distinct persons, in case of insurer or banking company, or financial institution including NBFC, insurer, banking company or financial institution including NBFC, or telecom operator, or what's a telecom operator, then supplier may issue the invoice. Supplier may issue the invoice before or at the time. Supplier records the same in his books of account, or at the time supplier records the same in his books of account, or before the expiry of the quarter. Another quarter, that is important. Or before expiry of the quarter, during which supply was made. That means basically we can issue invoice end of the quarter also. In case supply between what persons? Distinct persons. Underline the word quarter, underline the word distinct persons. Next, in case of goods, in case of goods, invoice must be issued. Invoice must be issued on or before a date of removal. Correct? No, we all know these points. Invoice must be issued on or before a date of removal. On or before a date of removal. If there is movement of goods, if there is movement of goods. Clear? Next point. If there is no movement of goods, there is no movement of goods, invoice must be issued. Invoice must be issued. Invoice must be issued on or before the date of delivery. On or before the date of delivery, or make available. On or before date of delivery or make available. Where will like that now? B2B, B2C? Yeah, next take this. Come on, take this please. Provide this concept. So one small correction. There is not less than or equal to, less than 200. Done? Note, if supplier is a banking company or NBFC, if supplier is a banking company or what's a NBFC, then consolidated tax invoice then consolidated tax invoice may be issued. Then consolidated tax invoice may be issued for supply of services. Consolidated tax invoice may be issued for supply of services made during the month. Supply of services made during the month. At the end of the month. At the end of the month. So getting clarity, everybody? Speak out. Generally what is the answer? In a day. But for them they told month. So next point. Have you heard this word called concept of e-invoicing? It's a simple logic. This is not something like a new variety concept and all. First concept, this is applicable only for those whose aggregate turnover during any preceding financial year starting from 17-18, because that is when GST has come, no? Starting from 17-18 exceeds 100 crores. By 100 crores became 50 crores with effect from 1/4/21. Clear, friends? And let me tell you practical or interesting concept. For your exam it is 50 crores only, but practical interesting concept is from 1/4/22 it has become 20 crores. In fact, there are a lot of my clients whose turnover is 30 crores, 40 crores and all, they started following e-invoicing from April 2022. But for exam it is, for June 22 exam it is 50 crores. December 22 exam, we have to wait and see. December 22, to my knowledge, they will pakka tell 20 crores only. Clear? But to make you understand, I am telling you all this concept. First of all, what is this e-invoicing all about? This is not something like we are generating invoice in the government portal. It is something like you generate invoice using existing software only. Using what, sir? Existing software, no doubt about it. But what you have to do is, you have to enter details of invoice, in government e-invoicing portal. I repeat again, you have to enter details of invoice in what's our government e-invoicing portal. I repeat once again, once you enter details of invoice in the government e-invoicing portal and you click generate e-invoice, what will happen is one IRN stands for invoice reference number. 164 alphanumeric code will be generated. 64 digit alphanumeric unique code is generated. IRN and QR code is generated. IRN and QR code is generated. And this IRN and QR code should be printed on invoice or separately enclosed to invoice. That means ultimately there must be one document where there is an IRN and where there is a QR code. Where there is IRN, where there is a QR code. Friends, getting clarity, everybody? So speak out. Everybody, are we understanding? I'll just show you one document. Hold on. So able to see here? So you can see here, one person, so and so person raised invoice on some entity and the service basically of unskilled manpower. So basically manpower service has been given. And here in the top of invoice you can see something called IRN. Able to see that? That will basically be 64 digit. Are you understanding? And once we generate details on the e-invoicing portal, like this, one pop-up will come. That is one print will come, basically where there is a QR code and where there is an IRN. Same details, no extra details we are giving, same details only. The whole idea of the government is e-invoicing, through which they want to eliminate the fake invoicing concept, and also to ensure that every invoice is being validated. And when you file your GSTR1 statement of outward supplies, details will directly come from e-invoicing portal to GSTR1 automatically. Government wants to track the data right from starting itself. I hope understood. Speak out. Put heading e-invoice. First point. Concept of e-invoicing. Concept of e-invoicing is applicable only to those whose aggregate turnover during any preceding financial year exceeds 50 crores. How much, sir? 50 crores. Next point is a very important point. E-invoicing concept is applicable. Next point, e-invoicing concept is applicable. E-invoicing concept is applicable only for B2B invoices. It's not required B2C. It's only for B2B. B2C means the person will die. It's only for what invoices, sir? B2B invoices. Next point. There are certain category of persons to whom e-invoicing is not applicable. There are certain category of persons to whom e-invoicing is what, sir? Not applicable. That is SEZ, Special Economic Zone, SEZ, insurer or banking company, or financial institution including NBFC, what, sir? NBFC, GTA, what GTA? What's happening? GTA, supplier of passenger transport service. Supplier of what, sir? Passenger transport service. Supply of service by way of admission to exhibition of cinematographic films. Cinema tickets. Admission to exhibition of cinematograph films in multiplex screens. Cinematograph films in multiplex screens. ISD, nil rated and exempted, Government department and local authority. Government department and local authority. So getting clarity, friends? For all these persons, what is the story? E-invoices not applicable. In fact, originally the first limit was 500 crores. 500 crores, then 100 crores. Then they brought it 50 crores. Now recently they made. Soon they'll make 10 crores and they'll applicable for all. That's a future plan. Next point, GST invoice will be valid. GST invoice will be valid. GST invoice will be valid only with a valid IRN. GST invoice will be valid only with a valid IRN. Only with a valid what, sir? IRN. Next point, invoices, credit notes and debit notes. Invoices, credit notes and debit notes. Invoices, credit notes and debit notes are presently covered under e-invoice. Full stop. Further, e-invoicing applies even to. Further, e-invoice applies even to. E-invoice applies even to zero rated supplies. What is it? Exports. Correct, no? Supply to SZ. Yeah. Next point, exemption from e-invoicing. Exemption from e-invoicing. Exemption from e-invoicing is only for SEZ unit. What did you know? For that unit there is no requirement. Exemption from e-invoicing is only for SEZ unit, but not for SEZ developer. But not for SEZ developer. SEZ unit is somebody who is doing business in SEZ and can be doing any activity in SEZ. Maybe export of software, development of software and all. SEZ developer are those persons who are acting for development of SEZ. Maybe some construction activity in SEZ or any other activity in SEZ for developing SEZ. So they are engaged in that business only. SEZ unit can be any unit set up in SEZ. For example, I'm a software company. I set up a unit in SEZ and I'm creating software which I'm exporting. So I'll get permission to set up an SEZ. But I'm not SEZ developer. I'm only the SEZ unit. I'm not working towards development of SEZ. I'm only working towards my own business, but I'm sitting in SEZ. Next one. In case of B2C invoices, comma, if aggregate turnover is more than 500 crores, if aggregate turnover exceeds 500 crores, then supplier must generate a dynamic QR code. Supplier must generate a dynamic QR code. Underline that, dynamic QR code. Next point. E-invoice generated can be cancelled within 24 hours. Is that clear? Through e-invoicing, next point, through e-invoicing, data can be directly populated into GST return. Through e-invoicing, data can be directly populated to GST return. Populated means extracted. Populate. Don't write population. Data can be directly populated to GST return. And also to e-label. Clear, my dear friends? Next point. There must be HSN or SAC code mentioned. There must be HSN or SAC code mentioned. HSN or SAC. What is SAC? Service Accounting Code. HSN or SAC. HSN Harmonious system of nomenclature. Clear now? First up. Next point. If the aggregate turnover in the preceding financial year of the preceding financial year is up to 5 crores. Is up to 5 crores. Then 4 digits are required. 4 digits are required. And if it is more than 5 crores, and if it is more than 5 crores, 6 digits are required. So getting clarity? That's it. Take this table once. December guys, write that 20 crores also. Wrote? Very good. So done? Come on, next point. Done? The general story for e-invoicing. Next separate point. Next separate point. Output side heading. Bill of supply. Bill of supply. Huh? Composition. That is one case. Second case is registered person is supplying exempt supplies. Correct, no? And one special point is here which we should know. I mean, common sense, but which we have to know. For example, sir, we go to supermarket and buy 2-3 items. In that 2 items are taxable, 1 item is exempt. He will give a document called invoice cum bill of supply. Because he will not tell, no, you go that counter for invoice, this counter for bill of supply. Then you will do business then. You got the point, no? Right on. Bill of supply is issued. Bill of supply is issued in 2 cases. Number 1, registered person is under composition scheme. Registered person is under composition scheme. Registered person is under composition scheme. Number 2, registered person is supplying exempted supply. Registered person is supplying exempted supply. So understanding? Next point. If a registered person is supplying taxable as well as exempted, if a registered person is supplying taxable as well as exempted, to an unregistered person, is supplying taxable as well as exempted to an unregistered person, then he can issue a single invoice cum bill of supply. Then he can issue a single invoice cum bill of supply. He can issue a single invoice cum bill of supply. Friends, very clarity everybody? Sir, that's it. Write the note below. In general, invoice is prepared in triplicate. In general, invoice is prepared in triplicate in case of goods. Invoice is prepared in triplicate in case of goods. Triplicate in case of goods and duplicate in case of services. Triplicate in case of goods and duplicate in case of services. Sir, for goods, why triplicate, sir? Original for receiver, duplicate for transporter, triplicate for supplier. Common sense only, no? Not necessary. Colors and all, law will not tell. That is your choice. So, are you understanding? Now I have a question. Interesting concept actually. Let's do one thing. First to finish this, then we'll write that concept. Take this first. Put heading concept of self-invoicing and payment voucher. Concept of self-invoicing and payment voucher. And sir, I'm not making you write that concept of what you call continuous supply of goods, when you raise invoice, continuous supply of service, due date of asset payable, on or before due date of payment, not settlable date of payment, linked to completion of event, on or before completion of event or milestone. All that we learnt and wrote in time of supply chapter. And again, I don't want to waste your time by making you write again. And we also wrote in time of supply chapter with the concept of goods sent on approval basis. If it's approved within 6 months, if it's fine. If not, we'll raise the invoice. Tells you that? Already we wrote and learnt also, no? If you are interested to waste your time, then we'll write again. Not required? Enough things are there to learn. Next, put heading, concept of receipt voucher. Concept of receipt voucher, and take this. Salam, wrote that? So done. But right, if advance is required to be refunded, if advance is required to be refunded for any reason, if advance is required to be refunded for any reason, if advance is required to be refunded for any reason, then supplier shall issue what's there? Refund voucher. That's it. So getting clarity? Sure. Finally, one last point to understand this. So just recollect the concept properly, guys. Sir, there is one person, Mr. A. His turnover exceeded threshold limit on 10/10/21. Okay, guys. He applied for registration on 6/11/21. He got registration certificate. He got registration certificate on 9/11/21. Within 3 working days he got. Okay guys, can you please tell me what will be the effective date of registration? 10th October 21. Do you remember this concept? If any person liable to be registered applies for registration within 30 days, effective date with the date when he is liable. Applies after 30 days, effective date with the date of registration certificate. Correct, no? Now listen. Mr. A made some supply to Mr. B. This supply happened on, let's say, 5th November 21. 5th November 21. As on that date, is A registered? By 5th of November, did he get registration certificate? So is he registered? Speak out. But he got certificate on 9/11. Stating that register with effect from 10/10. Something like date of merger yesterday we discussed. Amalgamation or merger. Order of court order date is different. Effective date of merger is different. Correct, no? Something like that only. Now here what they told is, for supplies made between effective date of registration till date of what, sir? Certificate of registration. That means in this example from 10/10 to 9/11. Supplier can issue revised invoice. What he can issue, sir? Revised invoice. He will give a revised invoice along with the GST number and GST amount so that a receiver can happily take input tax credit. Sir, on 5th of November, when I am making supply to you, did I get my GST number? No. Can I give you a tax invoice? No. So what will I do? I made a supply to you. But after GST registration I got, my effective date is 10/10. No. So what will I give you now? Revised invoice. So that you can take input tax credit. Clear? Then what they told is, supplier can issue revised invoice within 1 month from date of certificate of registration. So for that period, he can give what invoice, my dear friends? Revised invoice. Within how much time? 1 month. So what is the purpose of revised invoice? So that receiver can take input tax credits. That's the whole idea. Sir? So what will A give to B? He will give a revised invoice. So that B can claim. And what is the time limit to give that revised invoice? Within a period of 1 month. Getting clarity? Put the title, concept of revised invoice. Sir? Apply the concept of the effective date will change now. Take all this concept. Put the title, concept of revised invoice, and take this. You thought I'll tell something? Nothing. Take it. Say done? Chalo. You told yes or you told no? You told yes, they said no. Wonderful. So are we clear this? Put surrounding section 32. Okay, waiting. Bharat. You are strong people, young people, how you strong you have to be? Always crying only, hands are paining, legs are paining, tired sir, morning to evening sir. Madam, put side section 32, over. 1 2 small points are there in this chapter. You will complete. Yeah, 32, first point. Only 2 points in this. Number 1, unregistered person. Unregistered person cannot collect tax from the customer. Wow. No observation. Correct, no? Chintu? Happy? Unregistered person cannot collect tax from the customer. And registered person. Unregistered person cannot collect tax from customer, and registered person should collect. And registered person should collect only as per provisions of the Act. Registered person should collect only as per provisions of the Act. It's understood, no? What does that mean? Unregistered should not collect only. Registered should collect. If it is 12, collect 12. If it's 18, collect 18. If it is 12, don't collect 18. If it is 12, if they collect 18, what will happen? Tax collected but not paid. Paid to government. Extra collected, no problem, pay. If you don't pay, we'll pass the order within 1 year from the date of notice. That section? 76. Only seeing and smiling. Present no time. Present only. I know. That also they are thinking. Chalo, put solid in 33. I will. Aim with some sections are all small. So should be. Section 33. Only 1 point. Amount of tax. Amount of tax should be. Amount of tax should be. Amount of tax should be prominently indicated. Amount of tax should be prominently indicated. Prominently means properly, clearly, prominently indicated in the invoice and other documents. Should be prominently indicated in the invoice and other documents. So done? That's it. Last section. Section 34. Title. Concept of credit note and debit note. Excellent. Concept of credit note and debit note. Listen now. Don't write anything. Listen happily now. Concept of credit note and debit note. Who will give credit note? Supplier. Wow. Who will give debit note? Supplier. Don't dare tell about receiver. Under GST law, they clearly told recipient is not required of any document. Either credit note or debit note is given by supplier only. Credit note is given in order to reduce the tax. Debit note is given in order to increase the tax. Clear? Let's take an example and get the clarity here. So listen. One person, Mr. A, he supplied goods to Mr. B on 10/10/21. B subsequently returned the goods on 10/12/21. When goods are returned, A will give, what's our credit note to B. What will B give? GST Act is silent. GST Act is concerned only and only about supplier, but not about recipient. A will give what's our credit note to B. Details of such credit note may be declared in return for the month in which credit note is issued. Sir, by giving credit note, is the tax coming down or going up? Tax is coming down. For whom? Mr. A. Correct, no? For Mr. A, tax will come down or go up? Come down. Speak out. The details of credit note may be declared in the return for which credit note is issued. So which month will show it? December. Speak out. Or it may be shown in subsequent month return, not later than return for September month, not later than return for September month, not later than return for what month, sir? September month, following the end of financial year, or date of filing annual return, whichever is earlier. Something like this already we heard in Input Tax Code chapter section 16 subsection 4. Maximum time limit to take the credits. Due date of return for September month following the end of financial year or date of filing annual return, whichever is earlier. But time limit will not apply in case of reclaim of credit which has been reversed earlier. Sir, ITC. Terrific questions we solved and terrific questions we discussed. Yes or no? No. Champu gurtuna questions? 42, T1, T2, T3, C1, C2, D1, D2. F1, F2 is not there. F is there. ఇది ఇవన్నీ వేస్తూనే ఉంటే అయితే ఇట్లనే ఉంటుంది. So getting clarity on this concept, everybody? Sir, the more and more late he does, is government happy or sad? If he does a delay in showing credit note, is government happy or sad? What common sense you are applying, sir? Sir, they are supposed to show in December. They forgot in December, showing in Jan. Will government be sad or okay? Okay. Jan also forgot. Okay. March also forgot. Okay. August also forgot. Okay. September also forgot. Very much okay. The more you forget, government is more happy. Your tax will come down if you show. Speak out. Madam, yes or no? Understood? You should not feel happy that they gave more time. They gave more time means you are at loss. The more you delay, the more you are at loss. Because your tax will not come down. Clear? Other side. There is one person, Mr. P, who made supply to Q at the rate of 12% GST. This transaction happened on 10/10/21. Subsequently, on 10/12/21, P realized that GST rate is 18%. But what did he charge? 12%. Now for balance 6%, P will give debit note. So yes or no? Debit note or credit note is given by supplier only. Credit note is given in order to reduce the tax. Debit note is given in order to increase the tax. Clear, no? P will give debit note on 10, 12, 21. Now read this line. Details of such debit note issued. What is that line, sir? Details of such debit note issued must be declared in return for the month in which debit note is issued. That's it. There is nothing called this month you forgot show next month, next month you forgot show next month, next month you forgot you have time till September. All the time they did not give in case of debit note. All the time they gave only in case of credit note. Why they did not give in debit note? Because debit note government will get the revenue. That's why they did not give time. They bluntly told debit note, the more you delay, the more you have to pay, end up paying interest. Credit note you show late, will they tell will pay interest? No, that is no problem. Debit note you show late, pay along with interest. Getting clarity? That's the difference what you have to observe there. With section 34, concept of credit note and debit note. Write one point which I will tell, then you take this. Credit note or debit note. Credit note or debit note. Credit note or debit note is to be given by credit note or debit note is to be given by supplier only. Credit note or debit note is to be given by supplier only. Next point. Credit note is given in order to reduce the tax. Credit note is given in order to reduce the tax. Credit note is given in order to reduce the tax. Whereas debit note is given debit note is given in order to what's that? Increase the tax. So in GST law there is nothing called supplier will give, receiver will give. Both are given by supplier only. To increase the tax, debit note. Reduce the tax, credit note. Clear? Take this. Important. High possibility question can come. drill. So done. Write down note, important note, latest amendment actually. Person can issue one credit note for multiple invoices. You got my point? The latest amendment actually, once upon a time what they told is for every invoice they told give separate credit note. But now they told for multiple invoices we can give only what, sir? One credit note. So what you wrote? Person may issue one credit note for multiple invoices. That is, there is no need to link any particular invoice, right? That is, there is no need to link any particular invoice. So clear? Friends, next, separate subheading. Concept of delivery challan. Example, principal to job worker. One more example I should tell you. Goods sent on approval basis. Means what I am going to make you write is, there is a movement of goods, but the transaction is not a supply. Then we give something called delivery challan. Write down. Delivery challan is issued. Delivery challan is issued in case where there is delivery challan is issued in case where there is movement of goods, but the transaction is not a supply. In case where there is movement of goods but the transaction is not a supply. Example, what's your principal to job worker. Principal to job worker. Goods sent on approval basis. Etc. That's it. That's it. I hope you got clarity on this topic. Small, sweet topic which may come in exam. Generally 2 marks, 3 marks keep coming in the exam. And to my knowledge, it may not come also. It may come also. But my only point is, whether it comes or does not come, still are you prepared for anything? If you prepare for the worst, we'll do the best. That's it. If you prepare only for short things, exam will become dangerous. Are we clear? Tell me guys, what is section 7? Section 10, composition scheme. Section 11, exemptions. 12, time of supply in case of goods. 13, time of supply in case of services. 14, time of supply changing rate of tax. 15, value of supply. 16, eligibility and conditions to claim input tax credit. 17, apportionment of credit and block credit. 18, availability of credit under special circumstances. 19, job work. 20, ISD. 21, recovery in case of excess distribution. 22, person liable for registration. 23, person not liable for registration. 24, compulsory registration. 25, 26. Deemed registration. 27. Concept of CTP and NRTP. 28. Amendment of registration. 29. Cancellation of registration. 30. Revocation of cancellation. 31. Tax invoice. 32. Unregistered person cannot collect the tax and registered person should collect only as provisions of the Act. 33. Amount of tax should be prominently indicated. 34. Concept of credit note and debit note. 49. Payment of tax. 50. Interest. 51. TDS. 52. TCS. 59. Self-assessment. 60. Provisional assessment. 61. Scrutiny of return. 62. BJA for non-filers. 63. BJA for unregistered person. 64. Summary assessment. 65. Department audit. 66. Special audit. 67. Inspection, search and seizure. 68. Inspection of goods in movement. 69. Power to arrest. 70. Power to summon. 71. Access to business premises. 72. Officers to assist proper officers. 73. Other than fraud misstatement or suppression. 74. Fraud misstatement or suppression. 75. Determination of demand under 73 or 74. 76. Tax collected but not paid. 77. Tax wrongfully collected and paid. 78. Initiation of recovery. 79. Recovery proceedings. 80. Payment of tax in installments. 81. Transfer property is void. 82. Tax is always the first charge. 83. Provisional attachment. 84. Contest validation of proceedings. 85. Transfer of business. 86. Principal and agent. 87. Amalgamation of merger. 88. Liquidation. 89. Directors. 90. Partners. 91. Guardians and trustees. 92. Court of wards. 93. Special cases. 94. Other cases. Take a deep breath. Are we clear, friends? Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll talk about advance ruling from section 95 to 106. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye, sir.